Hello and welcome to another brief demonstration of new feature development in the Papyrus and Papyrus-RT projects. Today we'll have a look at a prototype of a small improvement in the import of models from RSA-RTE into Papyrus-RT, where those models comprise multiple fragments. So up until the Neon release, the RSA system and Papyrus have implemented slightly different approaches to controlled units. In RSA, a controlled unit called a fragment is not openable in a standalone context in its own editor. Opening a controlled unit implies opening the entire model that contains that unit and all the other units within that model. Whereas in Papyrus, up until the Neon release, any controlled unit that is a package is openable independently in its own editor without the containing context of other units, unless of course there are cross-references to elements in those other units that would cause them to load in lazily into the editor, which in part is accomplished by repeating the applications of profiles on the root package of every controlled unit, so that when opened in isolation, stereotype applications in that unit can resolve their dependency on that profile application. Here we'll look at an enhancement to Papyrus that implements a slightly more RSA-like behavior or mode of controlled units, in which a Papyrus controlled unit is now no longer an independent thing that can be opened and edited on its own. So let's start by importing this model. This is just a very simple, tiny little RSA-RTE model with a couple of fragments. We'll ignore the warnings about missing profiles, and that's done. So as before, we see that we get a fully formed Papyrus model for each of the controlled units that we imported. But now, when I open, say, this fragment here, what I get is the entire model is opened in my editor, including, of course, this fragment and this other fragment over here that happens to contain nothing. I did not open this fragment in isolation. So, in fact, the Papyrus editor infrastructure understands this dependency between these different controlled units, so that then if I go and try to open this other unit of the same model here, it understands I already have that open and just brings me to that editor. Same with this unit here. I could open some completely other model, and of course that's its own thing, but not so with other units of this same model. Now, in this prototype, this is all implemented using the Papyrus workspace model indexer. So we have an index of all of the cross-resource containment relationships between XMI resources in the workspace, from which we infer these subunit dependencies. That differs from the RSA implementation, in which the topology of all the model units is encoded explicitly in annotations. So there you have a brief demonstration of a new kind of controlled unit in Papyrus, designed specifically for the use case of import from RSA-RTE into Papyrus-RT. Thank you.